Hi, welcome back to Andrea Fontana Beauty. Today we're going to be doing another makeup look. This was the palette that got the second most amount of votes in my poll. So this is the Morphe 9B Bronzed Babe. It's definitely the most neutral of all the palettes that I shared. I think that's going to give you a good view of it. So it's a really beautiful, warmer, neutral palette, definitely very bronzed. I think the name Bronzed Babe is perfect for this. I personally love these little 9-pan palettes that Morphe makes. So we're going to create a warm, bronzy look featuring this. I'm not quite sure what direction we're going to go in, but we're going to figure it out as we go along. Really quickly before we get started, I just want to mention that my earrings are new to me. They're one of 4 pairs that I just got from my friend Catherine, who makes beautiful handmade clay earrings. I had to get a pair in this color and I'm absolutely obsessed. I will link her business down below where you can reach out and see all the different pairs that she has available. She even will do some custom stuff if she has supplies available. So be sure to check her out and add her to the list of 2021 small businesses that you want to support. Okay, so I already started by prepping my face. I put on my Well Skin Food. I felt like you guys didn't need to see me put Well Skin Food on my face again for the 100th time. We're gonna do something a little bit different this time. Juvia's Place was having a 70% off sale and I wanted to pick up a few palettes. So I did that before 2020 ended in December, and I figured why not try out their foundation stick. I will obviously link all the products below, but I have the shade Lima and it's just a twist up stick foundation. Now, normally you guys know I really like to mix my foundations with Glotion, which is this product here from L'Oreal. It's a liquid illuminizer. You don't have to mix it with your foundation. You can also put it underneath your foundation. So I'm actually gonna do that today. So I've just dotted that on the face and I'm just gonna spread that out. I'm hoping that that'll just give me a little extra radiance under this foundation. I have worn the foundation once before, but I was in a super hurry, so I don't feel like I really took the time to play with it and get to know it. So I don't necessarily feel like I got the best first impression of it. It was a little more matte than I wanted it to be. That is nice and rubbed in. I'm going to take the shade Lima and I'm going to start by just going in the areas where I know I need coverage. I'm just going to go like that. Okay. And we're just doing short little downward strokes. It blends out really nicely, I will say, and it's pretty good coverage. I like to do one really thin layer all over, blend it out really well, and then go in the areas, which honestly is what's really nice about a stick foundation. You can really target the area, just the areas that you want to. So I'm gonna go in a little bit more because this is where my redness is. I'm not gonna do any more on my forehead because my forehead looks fine. So we're just gonna do a little bit extra. I don't hate it. Feels a little light for me, so that's like my only. I wish I would have gotten just a shade darker. It probably looks fine to you on camera, but I feel like it's just a little bit pale for me. But that's okay because I'm also going in with the Juvia's Place. I believe this one is called the I Am Magic Concealer, and this shade is a little bit too pale for me. Well, it's not that it's too pale. It works. It's just a little bit lighter than I typically like for concealer, but it honestly will probably work great for this shade. I'm gonna put a little bit. Okay, so I'm just applying a little bit of that. Blend that in. You guys probably already know the drill. I like to start blending with a brush, kind of blend down. But when it comes to like right under the eye, I like to use my finger. Just blend that out. Next, I'm gonna set with my number 7 setting powder. All right, so going in with the Fenty Beauty eye primer, we're gonna take that all the way on the lid, and using my ring finger, I'm just going to pat to make sure that it's one nice even layer. Perfect. It should feel a little bit sticky, which is what we want because then it's gonna grip your eyeshadow. I'm gonna take, this is a Moda M14, and I'm gonna take the shade Hang 10, which is a matte medium brown. And I'm gonna start by patting that all over. Now, you may be thinking, but Andrea, you always start with a matte skin tone shade. And you're correct. But guess what? This palette doesn't have one. So if I wasn't doing this video, I would totally put one down, but I'm trying to show you the look that I can create with just this palette. So if you want to put one down, totally fine. Okay, so that's not meant to be perfect. We're just packing that color on. We're going to take a Moda crease brush. This is the BMX 430. And we're just, there's no product on this. We're just gonna buff in windshield wiper motions and bring it up, okay? So that'll just give us a nice little base. Now this palette, when you look at it, might seem like, oh, that might not be that hard to create a look from, but for people that aren't as experienced with eyeshadows, there's not a lot of light shadows in here. So this palette could still be very intimidating because it's still more intense than what a lot of people are used to. So that's why I actually wanted to include it. Okay, I'm also going to take the Moda Precision Angle Brush, the BMX 465, which is that angled flat brush that really helps blend out the edges. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same crease brush and I'm going to go in with just tapping the very tip of it into Road Trip, which is slightly darker, and we're going to buff that into the crease. Okay. Darker. Again. Barely tap it in there. Tap off your excess and then just swipe it through. If you've watched one of my videos before, you're probably not surprised by this, but I always like to take this in between. There is no product on here. And just blend. We're going to take it a step further. We're going to do the same process, but we're going to take, let's take Beach Please, which is not quite as warm, but it's darker. And same thing. Deepen up that crease. One more time. So you can see we're really starting to amp up that crease. Now it's helpful when you're doing this if the crease brush you're using isn't completely flat across. You can see how this one's tapered. Now, if you're somebody who has hooded eyelids, which simply means that this portion right here just kind of covers your eyelid more, which is totally normal at a young age. It's normal for it to change and for your eyes to do this as you get older. All of this is very normal. But if you're somebody who's dealing with hooded eyelids, if you put this color a little bit higher up, it'll minimize the appearance of the hooded eyelids. So now we're kind of creating that shape. Again, we're going to go in with that angled brush. Blend out, okay? Next, what I want to do is I kind of want to elongate the shape a little bit. So what I'm actually going to do is use my Morphe M321, and I'm going to dip into Volcano, which is the deepest matte brown. And I'm going to start by placing it right here in this corner, okay? But then I'm kind of gonna like flick it out a little bit, okay? So it's like as I'm blending, I'm flicking it out. And that's just gonna give us a little bit of a different shape. Okay, that's gonna kind of start to wing it out a little bit. Okay, we're gonna go back in with that crease brush and kind of just blend this all together so that it looks nice and uniform. If you kind of like take a step back and look at it, it'll give you a better idea of the shape. I like how that's looking, but I want to go back in here just to kind of clean up this. Okay, I want this to feel a little bit smoother. So again, we're just blending. The last thing that I want to do with this is I want to add two shades. I want to add Faux Real, which is a beautiful, warm, coppery, bronzy shade. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to go back to the Moda brush M14, which is a small shader brush. Take some MAC Fix Plus, and I'm going to spray this. And then I'm going to go into Faux Real. And then I'm just going to put this over the whole lid. Now, wetting the brush is what's going to help it go on in a really nice, smooth, metallic way. So you can see it's really pretty. Spray it again, go back in. It basically turns it into like a cream shadow. So bronzy. I love it. Okay. Ooh. I am loving this. I want to kind of blend that lid at the corner into this smudged out shape we've created. And then I want to go back in with my empty precision angle brush and just blend. You could never blend too much. Okay, so we're going to work on the lower lash line now. I'm going to take a little bit of Volcano and Midnight Dip, and on the Morphe M321, starting on the outside, I'm going to connect that shape and bring it about halfway in. But I'm putting most of the product on the outside. Going back in with the brush that I used to set under my eyes, we're just going to swipe. So you can make sure that we have no fallout there. Again, I'm trying to use up my Tarte Park Avenue Princess bronzer. So I'm going to contour with that today. We are going to use a new blush product today. So while the main focus is the eye look that I'm doing, I also like to throw in some new products that I'm trying out. So these are the Maybelline Cheek Heat Gel Cream Blushes. This is in the shade Fuchsia Spark. And I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. Blot. You can see the texture of it is very, they look super pigmented, but I feel like they kind of blend out to not that much. I'm not sure if I love the gel consistency, but we're going to work with them. We're going to see what happens. I feel like this is definitely a product you have to use your fingers with. Because I can't imagine a brush working well. I just feel like they kind of, I don't know, they don't blend out. They're definitely terrifying because you think they're going to be, even when you first apply them, they look like they're going to be ridiculously hard to blend out, but I honestly don't feel like it blends out to that much. It's like, yeah, I can see it. I can tell I put blush on, but it's not as scary as you think it would be. Now, one thing I am going to do, I'm going to leave the remaining product on here in case it tries to move around at all. I'm kind of like powder out the, see, now I feel like I don't really have any blush on. I haven't made up my mind on these. I've tried them in one other color, which I just felt like was way too light. I had like no color for me, which for a fair complexion is great. But I'm trying this one, which is way more intense. And I don't know if it's going to give me what I want. Next, we're going to try another, maybe I can fix it with this. So this is the MAC Flashing Ice Extra Dimension Skinfinish Trio in Medium Deep. Can you see how beautiful those are? I love the formula of the Extra Dimension Skin Finishes from MAC, which is totally why I bought this. I'm going to take my Moda BMX 265 Glow. It's just a fluffy but flat brush, and we're gonna go in with the middle shade here, and we're gonna use that to highlight. I'm just gonna, because it's kind of bronzy, and I think it's gonna be perfect. How do we feel about that? This is my first time playing with these. Now I got the shade Medium Deep because I thought the light medium shade was just way too light for me. And these were 3 shades that I don't have in my collection. So that's what I'm basically looking for. I want to make sure that I'm getting things that are kind of filling gaps in my collection. I like to use them as cheek colors, but I also really like to use them as eyeshadows. So I would use all 3 of these as eyeshadows, which is another reason that I got them. I feel like this blush is showing up super crazy for you guys, but it's definitely not that crazy. Okay, we're gonna do my brows. This is the CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow. Okay, so we are done with the face. I'm gonna go off camera, do my mascara, come back, and we're gonna finish up with the lips, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts on everything. Okay, for lips today, we're going to do the Honest Beauty Glossy Lip Gloss in Poppy Topaz. Love that. This feels really good. It's not sticky at all. This is the first time I'm trying it. Or definitely a thinner formula. And I like that. I really like this like poppy orange color with the bronze eye look. This would be so pretty in the summer. All right, so this is the finished look. What do we think? Now, my hope with all of these videos that I'm making where I choose a palette, make an eyeshadow look out of it, is after I've created the look to tell you who I think would be best suited for this palette. So my hope is that with these videos, you can decide if you think that this is a palette worth purchasing and putting in your collection that you would actually use. So for me, I love this palette because I'm somebody who, while I like neutral colors, I usually prefer something that is a little bit more bold. I like warmer tones. I think this in the summer for anybody would be absolutely beautiful. If you're used to wearing those lighter shades and you want to try to maybe go a little darker, go a little bit more dramatic, but still keep it very neutral, I think this would be a really good palette for you. There's a really good mix of mattes and shimmers. Okay, so this side right here is definitely more neutral, not quite as warm, but there's some really warm tones. So I think this would be great for somebody who either already knows they love warm shades and they want to kind of play it up. They love a good bronzed eye, but also somebody who is wanting to kind of go a little bolder with makeup, but still, you know, it's not any colorful makeup or anything that's really neon or bright or anything. So it's a fun way to experiment and try something a little different than what you're used to if you are used to more natural makeup. I will link it below. And I believe the next palette to come is the Taupes palette by Juvia's Place. And then lastly will be the Mauves, also by Juvia's Place. And those are 6-pan palettes, so I'm really excited. The Taupes is definitely more of a cool tone, so it's a look that's a little different than what you're used to typically seeing here. I definitely prefer warmer looks on my own face. But the Mauves then will be really purpley and mauvey, and that'll be really fun as well. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Make sure that you like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my next video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.